What are we doing?
Uh, the Elden
Who are
Ring
we angering?
community.
Oh boy.
This community is known for taking on some of the hardest bosses known to man.
I respect
And
that.
then taking those bosses and making those bosses look like sheep fodder, because the community is always trying to raise the bar. So as
Good,
some guy just
good for
takes
them.
off
Good for
takes
them,
off
man.
all his clothes, puts a pot over his head, and starts soloing Melania or Melania, or whoever he wants to pronounce her
Whatever.
name.
The Elden Beast. I gotta tell you what, man. Whoever comes up with the build mixture to like do the concoctions and all that to like one shot bosses, I think is fantastic. I mean, it's why like I know you didn't. Oh, we already know how you feel about it. But the one sword that you literally, or not sword, but the staff that you literally shoot out a kamehameha out of it, I think is
Yes,
wildly entertaining to watch it.
sort of
I couldn't do
moon
it.
something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
something. I haven't played in so
Something
long,
something
but
moon.
I don't know. But watching them boys and gals get out there and just body things in one shot, I think is fantastic.
Yeah. Speaking of one-shotting, I feel like that's what they thought they were going to do with this DLC. um, it's always funny to me because I never would have thought, I personally would have heard from that community, that a DLC is too hard.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah, Eurogamer came out with a review a few days ago saying that, although she loves Elden Ring, and I'm pretty sure it's written by a woman. That's what I saw in the profile picture. But yeah, basically saying that it's great, but it's kind of more of a linear experience, similar to how Bloodborne was.
Okay.
And she was saying that it kind of it's different than how the actual base game is, because the base game is basically like you go out there and explore it for yourself, and she felt like this DLC was holding your hand a lot more, especially with the signs, like warning you of what's to come. She said it takes away that mystery of what's just around the corner. And she also felt like a quote that's been passed around all through over the internet is that the DLC is difficult for difficulty's sake, which I had.
Okay.
Which is, I really don't get that unless you're going up against a boss and the only thing that they did was increase his health bar. Like I could see, like, oh, we just give him a double health bar, which means you have to just survive. Or they, obviously, if it was Elden Ring, they wouldn't just do double bar; they would go like triple bar.
Or they give them multiple variations,
right?
Where because they did it with a few of like the last bosses where you beat them and then, I mean, you didn't get that far into it, but there's a boss at the end where he has like a tiger over his shoulder, and then he ends up killing the tiger, and then you got to fight him again, but he's like an enraged form. And then even Elden Beast is a 2-part fight into itself. So,
but
I don't know, man. It's interesting though.
I kind of like that though, because it would be different to say if they just gave you the same boss and all they did was add an additional health bar, which means you just have to fight him longer. That is what I consider to be difficult, just for difficulty's sake, because you didn't really change the way the boss acts. I would prefer bosses to have different stages. That means the fight, although it is long, the fight is different at each stage. It's a different experience the entire time.
Right.
So when I was reading that, I was like, oh, that just means these bosses are just hard just for the sake of being hard. And another thing that she mentioned in her review was that she feels like a lot of the times when developers make DLC, they feel like they have to go like this one step. They have to go to a bit of absurdity when they're making this DLC, because it has to go beyond what the base game is.
Yeah.
And
well, go ahead. I'll let you finish your thought.
But yeah, it's just I haven't played the game. I wish somebody in our group had played it to give me a little bit more perspective on what's going on. But I've heard the same sentiment, you know, in the reviews. I've went through like all this, like deep in the Steam reviews. I don't just click on the first page and watch the fanatics talk about it, because a fanatic is not going to give you like a well-rounded review. They love Elden Ring. They could they could give those people anything and they'd be happy.
But it's also tough though. Not to hop in there, but it's also tough because it is a tough fan base, right? Like, let's just call it what it is. They expect what they expect, and I'm cool with that. I'm not mad at that. I support that. And if it pushes the developer to want to give you a quality DLC, and I know we go back to it, but Ghost of Tsushima, that multiplayer that they dropped was amazing. That was a whole game into itself. So if they're going into it saying, I need to one up what we did in the base game, like, I'm here for it, because it's also true that if they half-ass that, they would be like, why didn't they go as hard? It's not as good. So the fact that they push the limit and it kind of frustrates the player base, okay, like, that's okay. He told you, the developer even told you that this isn't just going to be, I'm just going to drop a DLC. Like, he's going for it. I'm here for that.
Yeah. I also feel like they should have expected this. I don't understand some people think they're just going to go through there and just walk right through it with this build. I understand you've made this build to one-shot bosses, or, you know, just fly through bosses in the base game, but you know how the guy, the creator, thinks. You don't really think he would allow you to just go through his DLC and just walk right through it. He's going to make it absurdly hard. But it's crazy because on one side you got these people saying, oh, this is too hard, and then you got some people out here just, I saw IGN reported that they got level 1s walking through some of the bosses, like defeating the bosses on level 1. So it's always that side of the community that's feral. They're the same ones that will tell you, oh, you have no patience and whatnot, like, no skill, get good, no patience. That's usually what you're going to be told. But they're also the same ones that will, as soon as something's just a little bit too difficult, oh, this ain't even worth doing. I can't even get my TikTok clip so I can show all my friends that I'm just dancing all around the boss's feet. Nope, now you're getting stomped into the dirt.
I got to be honest with you. When I went through it, not so much the first time, but that third time I went through, I actually really appreciate how hard some of the bosses are. Now, obviously, they're hard to me. I don't really care what anybody else thinks. That's, you know, to each its own, you know, how you play or whatever. But I didn't find any bosses the challenge until I got to Millennia. But I enjoyed, but yet was so frustrated by her character. But what I will say is that if that's how the DLC is, like, I'm here for that. Like, that's actually pretty cool, where it's like, shit, if I'm really getting my ass freaking handed to me, that's a sense of accomplishment when you finally beat it. Like, I remember when I finally beat Millennia, I literally stood up and I was like yelling, let's go. Of course, I didn't want to wake the wife up, but I was definitely pumped when I beat it that first time. But even to go into, you know, whether the game's hard or not, like, just put in perspective, that DLC, I just looked it up because I remember reading it. The DLC dropped and there's 103 new weapons in that game. Just the DLC.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. That's really impressive, and it's basically like Elden Ring 1.5. I hear people calling it that because there's so much content in the game. They, at this point, that's the quality that we expect from software.
Yep.
My God, they are hard. That name. But I don't want to gloss over like the issues that the game has, because on PC it is not running well. Apparently you got horrible lag. Frames are dropping.
That's not good. Are they getting like screen tears and stuff too? Because that's always tough.
All I can.
It's just a lot of a lot.
This, I'm sorry. I was reading this Steam review and I just saw doo-doo performance.
That's the most hurtful thing to say. We went childish on everything.
One of the guys said hopefully they invest some of the millions they made into optimizing, fixing, and upgrading their engine, lest they become the new Bethesda. My God.
Ooh, that's not great. That hurts.
Yeah.
But hopefully they get it right. I mean, the base game, hate it or love it, it has its downsides. It has a lot of great charm to it too. It just depends on the type of game like you're looking to get into too. You know, it's you have to limit your expectation of, like, if you're a sports person and you come into this like and never played it, it's going to be a really cool experience. But like if you're going in with some expectations of, you know, something that's not this, it's going to hurt your feelings a lot. And I know I got clowned the last time we did this about how I went about it, but after getting into it, like, it's a great game.
To be fair to you, coming from nothing but racing and sports games, and then like dragging you like all the way through No Man's Sky. What else? Like,
that shit was a struggle.
So, yeah, dragging you through all these different genres, like, and then for you to end up at Elden Ring, I never would have thought that you would have.
No, that's. I gotta be honest. Yeah, I definitely dumped a ton of hours into it, and I'm really interested to get into the DLC. I'm not mentally ready to get back into that, just because I really want to get into it. Like, I don't want to run through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to be able to take your time, sit down, take your time, and just walk through it at your own pace.
I actually really enjoyed it for what it is, and I want to get back into it in the right mind space to go back through and chase some of the higher gear and stuff like that. So, I mean, we'll see when I get back into it, but hopefully they get all the kinks worked out, because if they can drop another DLC or the next game title can build off of this, you know, their franchise is in good hands.
Yeah. Also, I just want to mention that apparently the creator says he sucks at video games, which is crazy that he made.
And you know what? I'm happy about that.
Difficult game.
You know what though? The fact that he's probably not good at it is probably the reason why that game is that damn good.
Right.
You know? And honestly, if he was really good, can you imagine Kojima like really like having like military background, and he'd be like, "That's not the way that works." You know how much harder that game would be?
Oh, yeah.
Playing Phantom Pain. What the hell is Phantom Bean?
Phantom
Pain. But Phantom Pain would be like easily freaking 10 times harder. But yeah, because you know he's over there hitting fucking combos and stuff to beat a boss, and he doesn't tell you how to do it. Nah, I'm good. You can keep all that. Game's already hard.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on Phantom Bean because I don't even know.
Man, leave it alone, man. Dang. Ain't never gonna live that down. That's gonna be my new my new gamer tag.
May as well go ahead and change that.
Might as well go into the chat. Phantom Bean. Man, that's embarrassing.
I want to also say that for those of you who are having a difficult time on Elden Ring, there are ways to get better. They have these Skadutree Fragments and Revered Spirit Ashes that you can go around and farm to increase your level. The Skadutree Fragments, they give boost to damage and damage negation, and the Spirit Ashes does the equivalent for your Ashes of War. So if you're out there struggling, just be sure that there are systems in the game to make it easier. Swallow your pride and use those summons. I'm sorry. The game...
Nah. Going in there, struggling, bussing.
There are plenty of things in
if you use ashes, that's like using summons. You're weak.
See, that's messed up. That is the attitude that's in those communities. They don't want to use what's given. They want to go through it with nothing because they want to be able to brag and say, "I did it without the help," so they can go online and slander somebody who's using magic. Man, I went through that boss without nothing. You trash.
Hell nah, I use that mimic every time I could, boy. I don't care. We were up there high-fiving after we beat the boss.
This is a single-player game that you could play with friends or people.
I'll tell you right now, that shit was a single-player when I was at a boss. I had that summons right there with me. As soon as we walk in, boop, get your ass out here and get beat with me too. Get the hell out of here. If I'm getting beat down, you getting beat down like Debo and Friday. That's crazy.
I just never thought I'd see that complaint coming from the Elden Ring community. Just thought that was wild. But you guys will be alright. You're trained for this, just like those Helldivers were trained to take on Sony. You guys are trained to this. Just get in there.
That's another wild fan base.
Enjoy the pain, my friends. Enjoy the pain. It makes you a better player. Ghost, you got any other thoughts you'd like to add?
No, but I hope for those PC players they get that worked out for y'all, because that's a shame that you're going through that for sure.
I'm honestly tired of playing $40 for half-baked games. I'm getting tired of it.
Well, that's even like that makes me think of X when Helldivers came out, and he would jump into or drop into a match and then instantly get kicked. So
right.
that's just shitty to have to buy that. Not that it's expensive. Wow, I can't talk. But still to spend, $40-$50 on something and then have a horrible experience.
Yeah.
That's shitty.
You really couldn't even play it for like a month or two, like after it came out.
Yeah, that sucks.
Also, I wanted to add that this DLC did beat out Witcher's Blood and Wine with a 95 on Metacritic, I believe. So, congratulations to them. I'm not upset about this at all.
Not good for them.
That Witcher Blood and Wine DLC was amazing. But yeah, good for them. But they come a long ways. But Ghost, if you don't have anything else, I don't have anything else.
I don't have anything else either. I hope that it all gets good, or gets better. But other than that, man, I think that's about a wrap.
Yeah. All right. We appreciate you guys for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss an episode. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.